Today, we are taking a celebrity cruise to visit 3 islands in the South Caribbean, close to the equator in South America. From Fort Lauderdale in Florida, we spent 2 days at sea, sailing along the coast of Cuba, then turning south, passing between Cuba and Haiti, and finally arriving at the 3 little Dutch islands of the coast of Venezuela. They are Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire. The sheer size of the vessel is mind-bending. Our cabin is pretty comfy and has a balcony. Having a balcony is a real plus. You can sit out without having to go to the upper decks to enjoy the weather. There is something about waking up in the morning and seeing the ocean pass by. This is the pilot boat. All cruises have to have a local maritime pilot who takes the vessel in and out of the port. Once the ship is in open waters, the pilot boat runs along the vessel to pick up the pilot. This guy has to literally jump from the ship onto the small boat. The first 2 days of the trip were pretty windy, so we spent most of our time in the solarium. It is an indoor pool. We usually get up early, so the pool is mostly empty. The hot tubs, however, are generally busy in the afternoons. They have games, music, and dance with choreographed performances as well. If you don't participate, you can also watch from deck 4. It was always entertaining. Directly above the foyer, there was a library and a game room. The game room was usually busy. And of course, the ship has a casino. It was amazingly big, and it was always busy with gamblers happily handing over their money to Royal Caribbean Group, which owns Celebrity Cruises. It's all good. If that's your thing, you just go for it. They have that area set up like a shopping mall. It was weird to me that I would go on a cruise to go shopping, but my wife thought it was wonderful. This is the main auditorium. It is big. And remember, we're on a ship in the middle of the ocean. They host different games during the day, and one night they had a Cirque du Soleil type of show. If you get a chance, I recommend you go and take the ship tour. They show you how the ship processes all the laundry and meals and how the engine room works. And they show you the bridge where they maneuver the vessel in and out of the port. The first stop after 2 days of sailing was Aruba. It has a cute street shopping area with restaurants and bars to choose from. If you walk around, you'll find a trolley that takes you around the old part of town. It is free and easily accessible. We took a tour bus that took us around the rest of the island. We stopped first at the Aloe Vera factory and plantation. This factory exports skincare products derived from this plant. We saw a presentation on how to skin the plant to extract the medical pulp. We had another stop at a supposedly art district, but there was nothing to see and it was only 20 minutes. The final stop was at Baby Beach at the south tip end of Aruba. It is an unusual beach in the shape of a bay thanks to reef walls that make it almost a circle. But it has good snorkel. I personally would have to spend a half a day or at least 4 hours to get to explore the whole beach and reef. One good thing about the tour is that the bus driver is also the tour guide, who gives you all kinds of history and trivia about the island. Do you know that the island has only one traffic light? There are roundabouts throughout the island because roundabouts have fewer traffic collisions. Who would have thought? Of the 3 islands on the itinerary, Curacao was the most developed. The center of town is picturesque and full of color. This island has a moving bridge called Queen Emma. The bridge is a pontoon bridge and it pivots on one side, opening the bay for boat traffic. This thing was originally built in 1880. Of course, it has been rebuilt since then. In Curacao, we rented a car because we wanted to feel free to go around the island. Lori went shopping and took a stroll around the old town. I went hiking to Cristobal National Park. The trail is strenuous. I could not get to the top. To make it to the top, I would have to train for it. Maybe I'll conquer the summit on my next visit. You have to get your ticket at the office by the highway. Then you drive 2 miles into the park to get to the trailhead. For an old man like me, it will take about 2 hours and 30 minutes out and back. And of course, for a younger person, it will take half of that. After lunch, we had time to stop at 2 beaches. One of them was Grotech Nip. The thing I like about this beach is that there are no vendors trying to sell you souvenirs. It was refreshing just to park your car, walk to the beach, and enjoy the place. This is a good place to chill. We stopped at a second beach called Playa Grande. It is a fishing community, and as the catch come in, they immediately fillet the fish right there at the beach. At Playa Grande, the snorkel is very good. There were plenty of large turtles that came right up to you. In Bonaire, we rented an all-terrain vehicle, or ATV. Bonaire vegetation is arid, and in the interior doesn't have much at all. We stopped at a salt factory. They have a salt pier, and it turns out that makes it a very good place for snorkeling and diving. From the road, it doesn't look like much. You know it's there because of the giant conveyor that goes into the sea. We stopped briefly at a group of old slave huts, a reminder of the dark past that all these Caribbean islands sadly share. Next stop was a very popular windsurfing place called Onboard Beach. I never seen so many windsurfers in one place. These things can go really fast. We sat down and I had a beer, a $10 beer, so I only had one. Our last stop was my favorite place, the Donkey Sanctuary. You can drive in and pet the donkeys, which are rescued from the wild. Donkeys were brought to the island by the Spaniards. Once the combustion engine took over the transportation, they released the donkeys into the wild. Now, there are hundreds of donkeys all over the island. The sanctuary picks up pregnant, sick, and malnourished donkeys. These animals are very docile in the wild or in captivity. This was my favorite experience in Bonaire.
That donkey is not a bueno donkey. Quítate, quítate donkey. This is enough.